Mega Man X6 is a god-awful travesty, and it's been said over and over again across the internet. But could it actually be more put together of a game than the slow and purely random trash that is Mega Man X5? Yes, you heard me correctly. The purpose of this video is to emphasize the points where X6 is probably better than X5, while still maintaining that both games are gutter sewage. If you've seen my review of Mega Man X5, you know how I feel about that game's pacing and RNG mechanics, so let's not dwell on it any longer and move right on to Mega Man X6. Hey! Let's start positive! Many people say the music in X6 is not that bad, and you know what? I'd have to agree for the most part that it doesn't usually cause a headache. Although it comes nowhere near the first Mega Man X soundtrack because frankly nothing does. You can hear samples of the Mega Man X6 music in the background of this video and judge for yourself. Personally, I still think Mega Man X5 had more outstanding music tracks though. And well, alright, that's about all the positivity there is, so thanks for watching! Nah, come on, there's more. Remember in Mega Man X5 how Aaliyah would forcefully stop you to tell you pointless nonsense? That still exists here in X6, but it's now totally optional and mapped to an awkward button press that you'd normally avoid pressing anyway. So already we have a much more replayable game as the action never comes to a stop except for boss dialogue exchanges and like here and there on the stage select screen. And once again, compared to X5, the stage design of X6 has more motion. Where X5 had you sit slowly through weird gimmicks and dialogue boxes, X6 mostly allows you to keep moving and fighting, which helps hide any other downfalls happening as you aren't just sitting there hating life. Unless, of course, it's Metal Shark Player's stage or the vertical climb of Blaze Heatniks. Those stages will still make you cry. Hey! Did you know there's an action replay code that makes Metal Shark Player's Crusher stop working? You can thank me later. That's right, you can never play it the real way ever again. But there's more, man! Remember the parts system of X5 and how it was tied to the in-game clock and bosses? In Mega Man X6, the parts are now tied to Nightmare Souls that enemies drop constantly in the stages, and more specifically, Reploids that need saving, or more or less collecting. Once again, adding more life and purpose to the levels and taking away the pointless timer factor that forced you to die on purpose. Likewise, the random factor of X5 is gone too. There are 3 possible endings of Mega Man X6, and none of them are RNG like in X5's Disaster Piece. You either beat the game as X and never find Zero, beat the game as X after finding Zero, or find Zero and beat the game as him. That's it! Each one guarantees a specific outcome 100% of the time, no gambling with a cannon or a space shuttle, and no risk of losing a playable character. So wait, what do we have so far compared to Mega Man X5? We have a faster-paced platformer with static collectibles, a better-defined parts system, no time limit, no RNG, and an actual route for the least amount of backtracking. Did we touch on that? You can route this game to have less backtracking than Mega Man X5. Sounds like a step in the better direction, honestly. Granted, the game still has horribly designed armor capsules like the infamous Dash in Rainy Turtloid stage or the Flying Leap in Metal Shark Player's Zone, but the armors themselves are more interesting than X5's. The Blade armor allows X to dash in any direction and has a powerful Giga attack. The Shadow armor allows for walking on spikes like X5's Gaia armor, but it is actually agile for the most part and boasts a powerful Saber and Giga attack, unlike the former clunky option. So all in all, what you're telling me is that we can actually route this game and collect parts with intent and be rewarded for our actions. How could they possibly mess this up? Oh, I'll tell you how. Nightmare effects. Unlike in Mega Man X1, where beating stages had positive effects for the player in other stages, like Flame Mammoth icing over, Mega Man X6 punishes the player for beating bosses by adding horrible hazards in other stages, the worst of which being the blackout effect that makes almost everything impossible to see. In addition, this game still has Metal Shark Player's whole stage that they have the audacity to repeat in the fortress stages, not before throwing insurmountable spikes at you and gaps that not every armor choice can clear. Not to mention the nightmare portals locking certain Reploids behind them and housing different bosses, but still requiring you to mostly traverse the same stages multiple times is a real rubbish design choice. Remember, I said that the game is still gutter trash. We're just trying to make a case for it being better than X5, which is super gutter trash. The only other thing left to touch on is the story. X5 had a good story, but it just couldn't translate it into a good video game. X6 has horrible translation issues again that fans have since fixed, but the premise is a good follow-up to what was supposed to be the end of the X series. A scientist named Gate finds a piece of Zero at the crash site of the Eurasia colony from X5, and it drives him mad, causing him to create the Nightmare virus, which causes new Maverick activity. It also causes another scientist named Isaac to appear and claim that Zero's ghost is the reason for the nightmare, and he sends 8 Nightmare investigators, surprise, surprise, to areas to delete Zero's ghost. But the real Zero is hiding and getting better from his defeat in X5 somehow, and X finds him after defeating the Nightmare Zero with his friend's old saber. The two then work together to stop Gate, who also revives Sigma as a last-ditch effort in his scheme for power. It's not much compared to the climactic endings of Mega Man X5, but it's a story piece smack dab in the middle of the series' lore, much like the game itself turned out to be. At best, it does a good job continuing what was supposed to be over by keeping the Earth destroyed by the colony crash and the Sigma virus, and following X's next mission. Zero's ending gives suggestion to the Mega Man Zero series as well. So there's a little more continuity there. And well, really, there you have it. It's not much of an argument because there's not too much to praise about either game, but I think Mega Man X6 can be approached with more strategy and gaming intent than Mega Man X5, largely due to its improved gameplay mechanics, faster stage design, and lack of RNG and timers. You can easily replay it to experiment differently with the Reploid parts and trade off equal gameplay time with X and Zero without fear of one of them going away forever due to bad game design out of your control. It's just not that fun to replay because the design choices still mostly suck, and it has Metal Shark Players stage, which is enough to never want to play it again. In short, Mega Man X6 sucks at a faster, more intended pace than Mega Man X5, and for that, I hate it a little less. Seriously, 8 times with the stupid warning thing. Unnecessary!